Hi, welcome to this discussion with Roubini Global Economics. I'm Parul Walia, economist for UK and Switzerland, and with me is Megan Green, Director of Economic Research, Western Europe. Welcome, Megan.
Thanks.
So, Megan, lately all eyes are on the Eurozone. So, what's happening there? We know on Sunday there was a Greek election and then a Spanish bank bailout plan. What's next? What are the implications?
Yeah, we saw a very brief market rally after both of those events. For the Spanish bank bailout, the rally lasted about 4 hours, and for the Greek election, it lasted about 1 hour. So the markets are less and less impressed by all of these actions in the Eurozone. I think ultimately for Spain, the bank bailout really only deals with one piece of the puzzle. It does nothing to address the balance of payments crisis in Spain or the fiscal crisis, really, but it does at least help to draw a line under the banking sector, which is, the banking sector has really been a black hole and has been very corrosive for investor confidence. So it will help on the margins, but it won't prevent a bailout for the Spanish sovereign. And, in my view, that could come as early as the beginning of next year. So we'll see some more policy actions being pulled out of hats by Eurozone leaders for the next 6 months or so, but eventually Spain will have to go for a full Troika program. As far as Greece is concerned, Greece just had the election, but essentially they've just returned the status quo to government, and there's no reason to expect that this same coalition can do any better than the last one did in terms of the implementing the bailout plan. So there's still a lot of volatility in the Eurozone. How do you think that has really affected the UK?
So the situation in the Eurozone has a direct impact on the UK because UK is exposed to easy troubles via trade channels, financial linkages, as well as business and consumer sentiment. For trade channels, 50% of UK exports go to the Eurozone, and the recent PMIs, they have been pointing that there has been a reduction in demand from the Eurozone for British goods, and this is also offsetting new business deals which UK was able to gain in the US as well as Asia. Moreover, just less than 1% of UK products go to Greece, but a Greek default and an exit from the Eurozone would adversely impact UK via the appreciation of the sterling, and this together with negative output growth in the Eurozone would mean that the external demand would be reduced substantially. In terms of financial linkages, we have seen that there is stress in the funding market, and as cost for banks has increased, and an increase in the funding cost, they directly impact the availability of credit for the real economy, which adversely impacts consumer spending as well as business sentiment. So you can see that there are direct implications, and because of this, on June 14th, the Treasury, together with the Bank of England, they announced substantial monetary easing in the country of around £100 billion, which took two forms, the funding for lending scheme as well as the extended collateral term repo facility. So yeah, so there are direct implications for the UK, but coming back to the Eurozone, we know the EU summit is coming up on June 28th and June 29th. Do you think that the EZ leaders will be able to put something concrete together? What's the outlook there?
Unfortunately, I think that Eurozone policymakers should be managing expectations downwards in advance of that EU summit. I think what we'll see probably is a growth compact agreed, and that will help on the margins, but it won't be a game changer for the Eurozone at all. I don't think we'll see what we need to see to draw a line under this crisis, which is a real concrete plan to set up a full fiscal union and a full banking union, and both of those would require, of course, a political union, and I don't think we'll see any of that set up. We might see some rhetoric about how they might be willing to one day get there, but without concrete measures and without a real roadmap for that, I don't think that the markets will be at all impressed. So I think we'll see much more drama coming up ahead in the Eurozone. Given how much drama we'll have in the Eurozone, you've already explained how much that will impact the UK, but what about other non-Eurozone countries? For example, what about Switzerland?
Yeah, so Switzerland is another country which is going to be impacted hugely by developments in the Eurozone. One channel is the same as the UK, which is the trade linkages, because a big chunk of Swiss products, they go to the currency union. But there's another mechanism that is because of the Swiss franc. So back in September 2011, the Swiss National Bank, they pegged the franc against the euro, and they announced that they are going to implement it by the purchase of unlimited amounts of foreign currency. But we have been pointing out that an escalation of the Eurozone crisis and going forward a Greek exit and other countries, troubles in other countries is going to put pressure on the franc. And the developments in the Swiss bond markets, they do reflect that. The appreciation pressures continues to increase. This is something which is not unexpected, as I mentioned, because the markets are betting that the peg is going to break someday. But yeah, so Eurozone developments do have a huge impact on not only the countries within the currency union, but the rest of the world as well. So I guess on this note, we'll end our discussion here. Thank you, Megan. Thanks for joining us. Please browse roubini.com for more insights. Thanks.